Greetings and welcome to episode 3 of the weekly review here at Words About Games, the weekly review show. As the name might suggest, I completely flubbed the opening. It's a weekly podcast where we sit down to have a review discussion about some new release games and some other games that we may have been playing that maybe aren't newly released. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I am losing my voice, thank you very much for asking, and I'm joined this week by Mr. Daffy Moody. How are you, Mr. Moody?
I suck at being the imposter.
It's not your fault. The game rules as they were set up, which I don't think was Avril's fault. I think she was just using the defaults, were heavily unbalanced.
Yeah, there's a little
No,
bit.
only one person won.
Yeah,
Which should tell you everything you need to know.
that's true. That's true. Well, no, I am all right. I'm not bad at all.
But we'll talk about that in a minute.
I've got my final week of college next week. Then I'm off for 10, 11 days.
I thought you were going to say 10 weeks there. I was like, holy shit.
No, I've just had that.
No, yeah, I mean, that's going to be in a couple of weeks from now, right? Oh, we might have a lockdown, but it'll only be a few weeks. Yeah, that's what you said last time. I don't trust you anymore.
Well, I'm working from home anyway, so it doesn't make a difference for me.
Yeah. I really need to get this podcast off the ground so I can just work from home and never be affected by any of this. But hey ho, such is life. I earned money. I earned a Steam gift card. I'm gonna spend it on a spooky ghost game because, I mean, that's my brand, right?
Spooky Amy. Spooky Amy.
That's me.
Indeed.
I play all the spoopy games, and I'm going to talk about some spoopy games tonight, and oh my god. But
right now for Amy, she's snug Amy.
I'm snug Amy. It got to like 10 minutes before the podcast, and I'm getting ready, and putting all the makeup on, and I was like, all right, fine. I guess I got to get out my hoodie, put some like half decent top on, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna wear the hoodie. I want to be comfortable. I'm warm. I'm snug. I was just curled up watching Netflix, and then I dragged my ass out of bed to do this. And I was like, cool. And then you know where I'm going as soon as I'm fucking finished. I'm going right back to bed. And I'm going to watch more Netflix.
Check out Trials of the Chicago 7.
Yeah, I've seen the advert for it. But we're not going to spend 10 minutes.
My review is up on the Glorious Movie Show. A new episode dropped today.
Yeah, go check that out on podcast services of your choosing. We're not going to spend 10 minutes talking about what I've been watching on Netflix like we did on the other podcast, though. We're going to dive right into it. We've got 5 games to talk about this week.
Yes.
So, there's timestamps in the description below the video. There's also timestamps in the description of the podcast, wherever you get it on the audio side. So if you want to find the games that we've been talking about, maybe you want to skip to one or the other, you can do. I recommend sticking around for at least the first one, though. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be more, I don't know if it's going to be so much a review as it is going to be a recap of events as they happened last night. Because I feel like we've got stuff to talk about. Maybe I've got some apologies to make. Maybe to some people who I might have mercilessly accidentally betrayed multiple times. But yeah, the first game we're going to talk about is Among Us. Game of the year 2020. Because we finally not just me and you finally sat down to play at Moody. We got a squad. I was thinking, finally. I sent messages out, like I said. I believe on the last podcast, I ended up saying...
Was it messages or please?
I was going to send messages to people and we'll see how many we get. And I'm thinking, hopefully we'll get like 6. We'll get 5 or 6. Which should be about enough for a good game of Among Us. And we got 10 people. And we got 9 in the thing. So I was like, okay, cool. And there's other people who are like, oh yeah, I'm interested or whatever. So we have a big squad.
Yes, we did.
We got a full game just about.
Yep.
For anyone that doesn't know what Among Us is,
it's a game that's been out for 2 years.
No one
knew about until now.
Yeah, no one knew about it until the summer. But it's a game. It's a multiplayer game. Bunch of people get together, and they're these little jelly bean dudes. They're on a spaceship or on a base or whatever, and you go around and you fix the place up and you do your tasks. But someone or multiple people, depending on how you play it, are the imposter, and their job is to kill everyone. And so, through reasonable discussion, as the bodies start piling up, you have to try and figure out who the imposter is and vote them out.
I bet Phil didn't think it was reasonable discussions.
Phil did not think it was reasonable discussions. Phil should learn where the report button is. On that note, though, Phil, I'm so sorry. I did him dirty like 4 times.
Yeah, you did.
And I'll apologize for 3 of those times. I mean, one of those times I was the imposter. So I'm not going to apologize for that. I was doing my job. But
you're doing your job, that's true.
The other 3 times where I broke the voting deadlock to space him and he wasn't the imposter, I'm sorry. Especially that last time. I was inconsolable. The footage that you'll be seeing, which I'm going to switch the scene now. The footage you'll be seeing is from our friend, twitch.tv/elfdaughtercraft. Because she was streaming it while we were playing it. And she has graciously allowed me to use her footage because I didn't capture any footage because I was too busy trying to do the sneaky sneak and the stabby stab. But Moody, let's talk about Among Us. Let's review a 2-year-old game
that's just become popular now.
that, no one had heard of.
Yeah.
And is definitely Game of the Year 2020. Go.
Apparently it's a pandemic game.
Oh, God. Not that again.
That's what the last article was on the last episode of the podcast.
I read it. I was there. I didn't like it.
I know. Apparently it's a pandemic game like Fall Guys and Animal Crossing. This was a lot of fun. I won't lie, this was a lot of fun. It'll be interesting, like when we play it again, that we get different. It's more organized, more balanced towards where it could go 50-50 this time, because really it was very heavily sided towards the crew, basically, especially on mine. Right, when
yours was just a clusterfuck of everybody just watching Keith. Everybody was just at the end watching Keith try to finish his Simon Says game, and you were just running back and forth like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Yeah. Thank God, no offense to Phil, thank God, he decided, I'm going to go off by myself, and I just went, fuck, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one. Before this finishes.
Yeah, I am looking forward to like a more balanced game between imposters and crewmates. Like, I appreciated the challenge. Like, I thought, like, I had a really good time when I got it down to the last 2 when I was the imposter.
Yeah.
The second time, the first time, I fucked up really badly, but so did you. You kept me in the game for ages. But, Kirsty won one under those rules, and I was just in awe of that because there weren't enough tasks, so everybody grouped up. There was only one imposter, despite the fact there was 9 of us, so that means the imposter had to kill 7 people, which is tough. And also, as I learned when I rewatched, because I went back to watch the VOD, because I wanted to see things from a different certain moments from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like half of y'all were still chatting to each other like during rounds, and like the whole point is you're not supposed to talk to each other until the reports come up. So I was a bit put out by that because I just deafen myself every time, so I had no idea you guys were all chattering away. And I was like, whoa, hang on.
I muted myself, but I could still hear people.
Yeah, like I'll be having words about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sort that out. So
at the next meeting, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, you're all having a chat. No, that's not how this game works. Damn it! But I do want to point out the 2 people who did the best at impostering were also the 2 people who couldn't hear or say anything. So I'm just putting it out there. Maybe chatting isn't the best option.
That is true.
I love this game. You know that. Everybody who's watched podcasts for the last few weeks knows I fucking love this game so much. It's so simple, but so compelling. And every match is just the perfect blend of like chaos and arguments and like just ridiculousness. But it's so simple because all the tasks are really simple to do. Like some of them might take a while, but that's I think what the beauty of the game is, right? Like everything's so simple. So like Keith jumped in halfway through our session yesterday. Never played it before. Like didn't know like anything. But for some reason, Avril just started the game and not before anyone had a chance to explain to him what he was doing.
Yeah, that's true. Though.
And like it only took him like a couple of matches, and he was like, he was doing it. He knew what he was doing his tasks. He was doing his thing. Like it was like, all right, man. Like that's how easy it is to pick this game up.
It was really easy.
I think that's what has definitely helped with its popularity.
Yeah, it's simple. Just jump in. You'll catch it really fast. If you don't know really what to do by say the end of the second game, I think you'll this game's probably not for you then. But yeah, this is a very simple game, and like I say, simplicity is sometimes really is just the best thing. Like I say, it's just a simple concept. Boom, it's now one of the most popular games out there, and it's very well done, and we can't fault that for it, even though it's took 2 years for it to become popular.
It's one of those things, right? It's like sometimes like games just take a while to pop off, right? Like everybody misses games. We miss games all the time, and it's just everybody collectively kind of missed this game when it first came out, and then it took somebody. I don't even know what the circumstances were that prompted a big streamer to stream this over the summer, but they did, and I'm really thankful because now I know what this game is. I love it. I want to try and play it like every week.
Yeah, if we can play at least once a week, if not more, that'll be fantastic. I won't lie. Like I say, it's a good to switch your brain off game where you can just play with friends, enjoy yourself. If you're an imposter, try and kill them all, or if you're with the crew, try and save everybody or fix the ship and everything.
I mean, I have stories about my time as imposter. Like, it was hard mode for the imposter. Like, whoever you were, like Jesus Christ. But it's just like the gameplay is just like run around a ship, click some stuff. Like, maybe you have to do the numbers thing where you do the numbers 1 to 10 in order, or you just pull a thing down for a shoot. Yeah. Like, that's not really the gameplay, though. The gameplay is the social interactions. When someone finds a dead body, and then it's like everyone's having the back and forth and the discussion, and I thought you had a ghost for a second there. Like, everybody's having that discussion, and it's like, where were you? What were you doing? Like, oh, I was doing this, and then, like, it's like trying to suss out who's sus. And he might be sus, and like throwing the wrong people out of the air, like, because I want to talk about some key moments from our gameplay session, but first I do just want to praise how well made this game is, like, because it is like it is just that perfect blend of social interactions and having a laugh with your friends, like not taking it personally when they lie to you, because everybody's gonna lie to you at some point, because that's the point of the game, and like that's what's fun about it, and just like having a laugh. Like, we've only played it like once, and we have like about half a dozen inside jokes just from that one session at this point.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like my just completely my brain was just like, I saw Amy and I was like, she's by herself, that could be sus. And I didn't even realize that you already killed somebody. And I thought it was just like,
you came around the corner, right? Yeah. And that was the first game where I was imposter. I did do very well.
Yeah.
Because it was like my second ever game and I was already the imposter. And you came around the corner, and I'm pretty sure the body hadn't even hit the floor by the time you came around the corner. And I panicked. As you do, and I thought, I'm done. Like, he's seeing me do the murder. So I just try to walk away. Like, as you do, just like, do. But then, like, you hadn't reported it. So that's when I stopped. And I turned around. And I was like, what's happening? And you're just staring at each other. And, like, the entire time, you're probably, I don't know what you were thinking, but I was stood there. I was like, if I can get him to stand here without reporting that body, my kill cooldown will end, and I can kill him, and then I can run like hell. And it was on about 4 seconds. I think you were 4 seconds away from death, and then Russ came around the corner. I was like, how am I going to get out of this one? And then the answer was, I'm going to lie my ass off. And you were like, oh, well, Amy came out of the room. And I was like, no, I didn't. Like, I just straight up was like, no, I didn't. I didn't come out of that room. What are you talking about? You came out of that room.
Like, the thing is, she knew that I knew that she was the killer. So I was just like, but I didn't realize there was someone on the floor. So
yeah, the only reason I fucking managed to play that was because somehow you didn't know there was a dead body behind you.
I didn't notice at all. Like, I walked right up to it, and I still didn't realize. I was thinking, oh, okay.
It was the only reason I was still in the game. Because Russ... Because I managed to convince enough people to deadlock the vault twice.
Yeah. My airspace, my headspace was just like, oh god.
And you just followed me around, and eventually I just fucking killed you out of frustration. We were alone. You just chased me around all the tables, and I was like,
because I was chasing after you.
Literally everybody in the game has seen you chasing me. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just get like a fucking get away, Moody. And I think this was going on for a good 2 or 3 minutes, and the taskbar was filling up. I went, fuck it, and I just turned around. And I don't know if you realize that for the first time I was just running towards you, and I just fucking ripped you off and ran off. And I was like, cool. If the only option I have now is to basically say, well, somebody's trying to frame me. Yeah, it didn't work. But
yeah, but killing me was your downfall.
It was my only option.
Yeah.
It was like the second time I was imposter, and I got to the end, and I had no argument for, like, because the two people at the end had stuck together for the entire round. So when they found a dead body, it was like, well, it must be Amy. And I was like, yeah, I can't. Because I thought they were in a different place, you see. So I called an emergency so that I could run over and kill one of them and win.
Yeah. Oh, so you tried tactically, but then you realized they were together.
They were in the wrong place, and I ran past them. I was like, oh, shit, they're going to run straight past the body. There's nothing I could do. Because I thought they were in the middle, and they weren't. They were on the left. But, like, poor Phil. Like, the worst part was when I was the imposter and I killed Avril first, ran away, and Phil ran past me immediately. And I was like, cool, he knows I'm the killer. And then the body got reported, and I was like spinning it all up in my head, right? Of like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to talk my way out of this? And then it was Erica who reported it and just went, well, I just saw Phil standing over a dead body. And I was like, oh my God, I'm safe. I'm safe. Thank you. And then he still started arguing. But Phil said right at the beginning, I saw Amy running away from where the body was. And everybody ignored him.
Because he did it twice before. Or 3 times before. I'm just going to stand over this body and not
stand over this body for no reason. But then you all voted. And then I just sat there quietly for a bit until I knew the wind was definitely blowing against Phil. And I was just like, oh yeah, sorry, Phil. Like, yeah, got him. And then we played on a bit more. And then you found another one of my bodies. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I had an idea of, I was running in a specific direction, so I could say I did this and then I did this, but I didn't say anything. And then all of a sudden Keith just went, I was in this one place, and you went, no you weren't. I didn't see you there. And I knew you were talking about.
I could see it, yeah. That's the thing. Where I was standing, I could see the O2 thing that you have to walk up to, and his body wasn't around it.
But he was talking about, because there's the 2 O2 buttons, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about the other one. And I knew this.
I was in one, and because of where the one is, the other one you can see where it is, so I could see it.
Oh, but you can't see past the wall, so you can see where it is on the map, but you can't see anyone in it. Now I knew all of this, but obviously I just sat back and I was like, And so when I suddenly piped up, and I was like, so like, oh, but who's lying? That's the question. What I was actually trying to figure out was, who is everybody else voting for? So I can get rid of somebody.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Like, you guys did all the work for me in those discussions. I just didn't have to do a thing. It was fantastic.
We did,
there's a few people in our group, Moody, who vote a bit too quickly. Like, you'll just be like, well, I saw Moody do this, and half the people just go, it's good enough for me. Click. It's like, all right.
Oh, well, I did that on Phil a few times. I was thinking, well, he's standing over body, of course, it's got to be him. Boom. So that happened like probably 3 times from me. Yeah. So I was thinking, if you're standing over body and not reported, dude, I have to vote you out just because of that.
I mean, especially the last time, because, I found him standing over the body, and I was like, I just saw you running around a dead body. And then it turns out it was Avril.
Yeah.
And I watched the stream back, and I watched the VOD of that moment where I ran past her, and all she was doing was going, shit, Amy saw me, shit, and then it was like, boop, report, dead body, and she's like, shit, and she was freaking out so much, she heard me go, well, and then she started talking in chat about how I'd caught her, and she missed the part where I was like, Phil, why are you standing over another dead body? She didn't realize I wasn't calling her out, I was calling Phil out. She had the same moment I did, where it was like she thought she'd been caught by someone, but feels incompetence at not being able to report someone was like, save them. And I was like, sorry, Phil, but you got to learn to push that button, man.
That is true.
I wish you had a better, like, imposter story. Like, hopefully we'll get one. We'll get it going properly next time for you.
Well, I hope there's going to be more maps, because, like, there's only
there's
one
3
map
maps in the game.
Oh.
We just played on one. You have to end the lobby every time you want to make changes to the settings.
Hopefully they can change that eventually, just to make it like a setting in the game, and you can change it while you're doing the countdown.
But yeah, we'll do some of the other maps and some of the stuff. This will not be the last time we play Among Us. It'll definitely not be the last time we talk about it. Like
definitely
on this podcast, I fucking love this game so much. It's just, it brings out the best and worst in everybody.
That's true. It's not going to be a 2020 game, though.
I mean, I just said it twice. You can't stop me. I have all the power here.
You got no power.
I mean, I could end this podcast right now, so I'd say I've got some power.
I could end this podcast.
There's a button.
Now. I could hang up on you.
There's a button right here, but I can still talk. I'll just keep talking, and then every now and again I'll just be like, "What do you think, Moody?" And I'll have a little sock puppet, and I think you're right as always, Amy.
Now you're going into your fantasies there. Is this what Death want to agree with me?
I mean, sometimes, yeah, I do like. But that's Among Us. Like, it's such a special game.
For the price,
$3.99 on Steam, free if you're on mobile.
Mobile, yeah. So, can't follow.
Absolutely not. Speaking of faults, Moody, I want to talk about the second game. Remothered, Broken Porcelain.
Greatest game ever, I hear.
It's a horror game, third person survival horror game, psychological horror they call it. It's definitely a psychological horror experience. You play as a kid at a hotel, I think, or maybe a boarding school. It's hard to tell. And you're there. You've done something wrong. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't play the first one, so I don't know if any of this is connected to the first one or not. Like, they talk about stuff that's happened, like some place burnt down, some people died, and I was like, okay, that's probably a reference to the first game. But it didn't seem to matter too much to the story, so I was like, okay, cool, like that's fine. But the idea is you have, it's a stealthy horror game, right? Not a Resident Evil type thing. It's like a sneak. Like, things will try to kill you, and you have to sneak around them or run away from them. And that's the kind of horror game it is. Says it is. The kind of horror game it actually is you know, I hate talking negatively about video games, right? A lot of people always put passion and effort into everything they make, and the worst part of doing this side of the job is, whoops, that's the wrong overlay, ignore that. The worst part of this job is like when I come back from playing a game to sit down and go say negative things. However, I also have to be honest when I play a game. And, you know, like we talked about it a bit last week, I was excited to play this game because I like horror games. This was the worst gaming experience I've had so far in 2020. Like, it's not even close to anything else I've played so far this year. And I played Mass Effect Andromeda. But no, I know. It's a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke, everybody. Go watch my video. I liked it. But like even like before you get into like gameplay and story and plot and everything else, like the game's just fucking broken. Like, it's an absolute mess of a game. Like, enemies teleport all over the place and they're not supposed to. Like, cutscenes lag like absolute crazy. Like, I was in a cutscene once, and I don't have the footage for it. And I'll tell you, and that will become apparent why in a second. I was in a cutscene once, and the fucking one of the NPCs in the cutscene just suddenly span into view, like T-pose spinning, and was just spinning on top of my character while the rest of the cutscene was going off. And I was sat there like, I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. But for whatever reason, it was also chugging the fuck out of my video capture. Like, the game was fine. The game was, like, frame rate wise, it was running perfectly. Like, even though it was malfunctioning like crazy. But for whatever reason, it was, by video capture, just went, nah, I'm not having this, like. Like, there was a moment where I've finished, like, there's the dramatic music. And I finished doing what I was doing. No spoilers. Not that I'd care. But someone out there might decide to play this. But finished it, did the cutscene. The next scene started. It's a character sitting, reading a thing, just on a couch. It's like the start of an entirely new section of the game. Sitting on the thing, reading this, da 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 da, and then it's like the dramatic music was still playing. And it never stopped. It never stopped until I ended the game.
Seriously, sounds like this has been badly coded.
But it doesn't work very well. I broke it completely at one point. I died at one point, and then I had reloaded. And like in the level I was in, there's a character who, like, if you alert them, they'll be sitting at a desk doing something, and if you make noise somewhere or do something, like, they'll come and check it out. And they killed me. They stabbed me in the head with a pair of scissors. It was very violent. And when I reloaded, I was like snuck up on their desk because I had to go around it. And then I did the thing which was supposed to make them go and unlock a door. But I did the thing, and then I was like, did see them walk past, and I was like, wow, did she go and do the thing already? That was fast. And then I looked, and she wasn't there. And then I walked up to the door, and the door was locked. And I was like, what the fuck? Well, there's a way around to see, like, maybe it was just this door, because it's another door that I wanted to unlock. So as I walked around, she was just in the hallway. And she was just stood there. And I was like, okay, this is awkward. I need to go that way. I'll just trigger her, and then I'll run away and hide. And then I walked out, and she did nothing. And I was like, okay. And then I walked right up to her. It's all in the footage. I have the footage of this. It's playing on the video podcast right now. I'm walking up to her. I'm walking around her. I'm setting off distraction items right in front of her to try and get her to move. I threw a bottle at her at one point, which triggered the dramatic music, but it didn't trigger her to do anything. And I was like, oh shit, I'll reload the game again. And I reloaded the game again, and she was still there.
Oh, God.
And then I was like, where's my last save? And I was like, I looked, and it was like, it's at the beginning of the game. And I was like, I don't have it in me. I just don't. I'm not doing all of it again.
That's understandable.
Like, oh my God. Like, there's a moment where a jump scare was supposed to happen. It got me, legitimately. Because for one thing, like, the jump scare noise that happens, like, whenever a jump scare happens, the audio balance is so off that the noise is like 500% louder than anything else in the game. Yeah. So like, I will automatically get a fright anytime something extra. It would be like if we were talking right now and I just suddenly screamed at the top of my lungs. Like, that would give anyone listening to the podcast a fright.
That's true.
Like, and that's what was happening. But it was so weird that it was like you follow her at one point in the early part of the game, and she puts this food tray down on the floor, and then the camera went boo to the food tray. So I was like, cool, I should check that food tray, because that's what the game has told me to do. So I walked in, and I looked, and it does a thing where it's like, okay, it zoomed in, and I'm looking at it, and I was like, huh, that's weird. Like, oh, I can click on stuff. So I clicked on one thing, and I think I was supposed to back out, because then all of a sudden there was a crash, and something like kind of flew past my vision. Like, it was where my head was in the game world. Yeah. And then something reached out and grabbed the food out of the thing from a little flap in the and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I've clearly missed something. And I don't know what. And then I walked around the other side of where the thing tray was with the little flap, and there's no room there. It's a wall that leads into a big room, but there's nothing there. Like, oh. So like, while I was trying to figure out the game was like melting down around me, I was also like, how does this logically work? Like, this doesn't logically make sense. Like, if it was one or the other, cool, but like, there's nothing here. There's no room here where there could be a person or a thing or whatever that they're keeping and feeding. And And then that's a good summation of this game. Like, to me, Moody. Like, I I was doing the tutorial section, and the game does not teach you a lot about itself, like at all. And it's like you're in a laundry room, and then it's like, oh no, she's come in the room, and then she's locked the door, and then the game does the thing again where it's like a locker, and I'm like, I have to hide in that locker, and it's hide in the locker, and it's set up where there's like things you can crawl underneath and stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna have to stealth my way out because the character went, she's locked me in, she's locked us in. And I was like, oh shit, this is fucking kicking off now. She's locked us in. And then she kind of came from the door, took 3 steps back and left. And I hid in the locker and I was like, is this like stealth? This is a stealth section, right? Like, this is... And then I got out the locker and I just kind of wandered around. I was like, huh. And then I just went click. The door's already open. And I was like... The game made such a big deal out of that, and it was nothing. Like, what was that all about?
Was there anything that was redeeming for you on this?
Not really. Like,
nothing.
There's a whistling theme in the game that's a bit creepy. Plays in like the menu, and it plays in certain like spooky parts of the game. Like, there's probably an interesting story buried somewhere in it. Like, the exposition isn't great, and the way it does exposition isn't great. But, like, the story itself was interesting to the point where if it wasn't quite as broken as it was, I might have considered, like, gritting my teeth and playing it through. But, like, the game doesn't tell you about the upgrade system. I found it by accident, because I thought I would find a save point. Like, you collect these keys as you're playing, and I had no idea what they were for. And then all of a sudden, I just found this thing where it was like, you could spend your keys for upgrades for all this stuff that the game hasn't told me what it is, and I don't know how to use it. And I was like, okay. Like, I can upgrade my moth vision. And I was like, what the fuck is moth vision? Like, I know how to crouch, which I had to find out by myself, by accident. Because you didn't fucking tell me. The game was like, sometimes you have to sneak past enemies by crouching, and it didn't tell me what button it was. And I was like, how did this get past, like, a playtester? Because surely the playtester would turn around and just be like, what's the crouch button? Yeah. And then they'd be like, oh, we should put that in the game. Like,
it's really disappointing. Like,
it's like you get stun locked when you're running away from enemies really badly, to the point where it's like if they catch you, it's over. Like, it's not supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to run. You have to do a boss fight encounter type thing where you have to sneak up behind the woman and stab her. But the prompt for a stealth attack is so inconsistent that you just have to walk towards her, mash the button, and hope to God that the prompt comes up before she turns around, because her reactions are lightning fast, like, to be able to get behind her. And you have to do that 4 times to end the boss fight. Each time you do one successful one, you have to run like hell, hide, and wait for her to de-aggro, so you can then lure her into a trap to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can't do it in the environment either. You have to find a distraction item to distract her, because otherwise she will just notice you. Like, even when she's sat at her desk just doing the thing, whatever she's doing, if you sneak up behind her, she will just turn around and fucking stab you. Like, you know, it's just like and that was the part I died on, and then that was the part I had to start all over again if I wanted to keep playing. And I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm really not. No, don't make me. You can't make me.
It's pretty rad that the game's force basically so bad and so broken that's basically just made you go, I'm good.
I'm out. It's that combination though, right? Like, sometimes the game is bad, sometimes the game is broken, but you can see the merits.
Yeah.
And then there's just that rare combination where it's both. Like, even if there's because there's patches rolling out now to fix the game. And it's like, cool, I'm not going to download them. I refunded it. I refunded it. It's gone. And it's just like, I don't have any interest in playing it, because the game that's there, that's underlying, like, just doesn't seem interesting to me. Like a fucking half an hour boss fight where it's like this with broken stealth mechanics is not. It's
interesting.
not interesting to me. Like it's
Yeah.
not like worth like the promise of potentially maybe the story is kind of interesting, even though the expository dialogue is really like ham-fisted. Like I mean, no, I'm sorry, but like no, just avoid this game. Like I very rarely say it, like because I'm like you do you and maybe you like it. Just don't, just don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to me because it'll kill me a little bit if I know you played it after listening to this.
Oh, it sucks.
And I'm glad I got that off my chest because I played this on like Tuesday night, so I've had that for nearly a week.
You've had that for nearly a week.
Yeah,
nearly a week. It's a shame that you didn't enjoy it. Everything like that, but like I say, it does seem like going off what you told me, and what going off from like the reviews I've read and looked into, it does seem like it's just fundamentally incredibly poor coding.
Yeah, like it's not just bugs and glitches. It's like there's fundamentals in the design that just don't work. And like normally I'll talk about all these different sections of the game, but like all you need to know is it's fundamentally not a good game. Like the subtitle is Broken Porcelain. The only thing this game broke was me. Like, and that's where I'm at with it. No, avoid. Moody, you've got a game you play that you want to talk about. Return.
Yes.
One-way trip.
Return one-way trip. Yes, a 2D side-scrolling puzzle adventure horror game. Trapped in a ghostly. The story basically is the character Saki she's trapped in a ghostly train and must search the past and present to find and save her friends. More importantly, Saki must use her wits if she is to survive against the unspeakable evil hell-bent on avenging the unquieted love that's in it. This is a really good short game. It's not long. I won't lie. I did it in under 4 hours. But it's first anime. The 2D graphics really pretty. If you like a 2D side-scrolling type of game, it's very pretty. You can't see anything wrong with it when it comes to its visual. I think they do a really good work on that. I think the story is overall a very well done story. You get to know the main characters and her and her friends pretty fast and well off. You basically get the vibe of who is who, what is their personality, pretty much within before the main thing happens and everything.
Cool.
The puzzles are really well done. You really do have to watch, read, interpret, and everything, especially near the end. I think they do a really good job when it comes to the puzzles. Music is very well done. There's a creepy theme throughout for most of the game, and it's like, especially when the main big evil thing turns up, you're like I got chills of creepiness, and I was thinking, oh, that's very well done. I'm feeling the chills. I'm getting a little creeped out here, and I really like that. And I really liked Saki. I think she was a really kind of character. Starts very. For me, I think it's fair to say throughout this game, she's Sarah Connor from the first Terminator.
Oh, cool.
I think that's the best comparisons for me to be able to explain it without going into full spoilers, and obviously I don't want to spoil this game for you or anything like that. It's got a very unique way how it tells the story. Some very creepy characters that you're just like, I don't know about you after you listen to the dialogue or read to the dialogue and everything like that. For me, the best way to play this is with a controller. I felt better with the controller than I would with the keyboard. Keyboard just felt very stiff. The controller just flowed more and everything for me overall. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I think Red Ego Games have done a very good game here. It's very fun.
That's cool. We looked at this game after because we go through all the games for the week after we finish this podcast. Yeah. To sort of try and figure out if we're going to play this, and we both identified this game as, oh, this is a game Amy should check out, and then for whatever reason I regret all my decisions. My game apart from playing Among Us, I regret all my game playing decisions last week. And it's Yeah, but then like you picked it up and I was like, cool, whatever, like do it, like, and you played it and you just went, it's an Amy game, and I was like, oh, okay, it looked like one. And like what you're saying here is just like, yeah, like I like short games. Like at some point, I'll have a weekend day free. Like I'll just have like a day where I'm just like, oh, I'm in the mood for it. Cool, I'll just buy it, download it, play it in an afternoon.
Yeah, it's a really kind of game. I had a lot of fun with it. Very well written. Score, I think, was very well done. It's just and the puzzles are like like I say, you do have to pay attention to them. So if you don't read or listen or anything like that to the dialogue, you're gonna be like, huh.
Oh wow.
Okay, what do I have to do here? I'm very confused here. Or
Paying
like that.
attention.
You can't get lost off. You have to pay attention to, especially for the puzzles, especially at the end.
Can you
the
give me
puzzles
like?
At the end
Give me like.
are very. Go on.
Can you give me like one example of like an early-ish game puzzle? Do you reckon?
Some things are hidden behind certain things that don't show up straight away.
Right. Because like it's a 2D, not platformer, or like 2D game.
Yeah, it's a side scroll. It's in basically a train, a long ass train, basically.
Nice. I like trains. Yeah. So like what I guess what I'm trying to ask is what are the puzzle like mechanics to it? Is it like how in depth are the puzzles like mechanically?
Mechanically, it's just clicky. You're just pressing the buttons and everything like that, but you have to. But then, like, you have to collect stuff to go back to unlock certain things. There's certain parts to unlock certain doors, and then sometimes you have to go back through those doors. So you have to collect a certain thing, then go through that door, grab that thing again to go to the next door to unlock. Yeah, and vice versa. It's kind of like makes you have to go backwards and forwards a few times because you have to have the certain thing to get through certain things.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, it's like you try something and it's like you need an item or a key or whatever, and then it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then later on you'll be exploring around and you'll find the thing, and then you'll be like, cool, I found the key. Unlock the door to go through, and then you'll find like the crank handle, and then you'll be like, oh, I know where to put this, and then I love that kind of thing. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love Resident Evil so much. Because
There's
it's
some
cascading.
that are simple. There's some like what you just said, crank handle type of thing.
Yeah.
But there's also somebody just saying, oh, okay.
That was literally a Resident Evil reference.
Yeah.
I love that cascading thing of just like the dominoes fall. So it's like once you find one key, let's say, and it's like this unlocks this door, and then you go through it, and then you do some stuff, and you find the thing, and you go, cool, I know where this goes, and you go back, and then you just go pinging backwards and forwards, but it's like paying attention to what you're doing and where you've been and what you need. It's like, I know where this goes, and then I know where this next thing goes, and then it's really rewarding, that kind of puzzle gameplay. Like for me, I prefer that kind of puzzle gameplay to like say like more cerebral stuff, like say Portal, for example.
Yeah. To what I saw, there's a couple of different endings.
That makes sense.
Just going off from the achievements.
Like for the type of game I saw it was, that makes sense. That there'd probably be like multiple endings, like good endings and bad endings, or just different endings. Like it gave me some vibes of some like old game maker horror games that came out, like freeware stuff, like Witch's House at Eve, which was like years and years ago now. Which is what made my aiming senses tingle on the game, because I was like, I love those games.
Amy's gamey tingle.
gamey senses. That was terrible. I'm never going to say that again.
That's true.
Cool. We'll definitely give that a shot before the end of 2020. At some point, probably not in November. Go our time. So let's move on while I try and keep my voice going. So the next game I played, and I broke my 2 games up with your game, because I knew you liked your game, and I knew I didn't really like the 2 games I played this week. Because the next one was Ring of Pain, which shout out to, I got a code for it for review. Which I should probably mention in the podcast. They gave me this game to review it, and A Ring of Pain. So it's a roguelike. I've just brought the Steam page. It's a roguelike card crawler. Which, if you know what that kind of game is, you probably know what to expect. It is basically you go through levels that get harder and harder. And it's not, but at the same time, you're not building a deck. You are collecting items and treasures that enhance stats that you've got. You're never building a deck of cards, though. You are just getting, like, say, weapons, for example, that can increase your attack and your speed, or you'll get a spell that you can use to freeze enemies and stuff like that. It's like, but you're never building a deck at any point, so it's not Slay the Spire. But the unique twist on it is in the name, Ring of Pain. So you're going around essentially a ring, and the idea is you have to get all the way around, and that's how you complete a run in this game. And like it's like going down the depths, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, level 6, level 7, level 8, and like there's different pathways you can find that'll like send you like off the beaten path. So you might find a fountain of life, for example, that will heal you, but also take one off your maximum life if you use it. But that'll be in between, like say level 2 and 3. So you'll go from level 2 through that door to the fountain, and then when you come out the other side, you'll be on level 3. You won't have like skipped that. You won't have skipped a level, if that makes sense. And the unique part of the ring thing is, and this is going to take a little bit of explaining. So if I'm not explaining it well, I want you to chime in. Moody, I've literally got a picture of it open on the screen so I can try and explain this. So, in fact, I'll bring up the gameplay so people can see what I'm talking about. So, each level that you traverse, you've got the UI, so you can see all of your stats, your health, all of your different attacking stats, and all of the things you've got equipped. And then, like, each level is on a ring that's facing you. So, like, there's 2 cards in front of you. And let's say they're both, for the sake of argument, let's say they're both monster cards. And so, like, you have to interact with one of the 2 cards. So, like, if you kill the monster on the left-hand side card, what that does is that then moves the rest of the ring around you, to you, so that the next card that's on the left will replace it. And, like, the cards are, like, monsters, or treasures, or potions, or the doors, the exits. Like, there can be multiple exits in each level. And your idea is to, like, fight your way past the monsters, get the treasure, get all this, get to the exits. And then that'll get you to another room, either another side passageway or the next level. Yeah. And it's really interesting because it focuses you on positioning. So, like, if you interact with one card that's in front of you, the other one won't do anything. Like, in theory. So, like, if there's a weak enemy and a strong enemy and you attack the weak enemy, the strong enemy won't then attack you. Like, it's only the cards that you're interacting with. But there are a couple of caveats to that rule, which I'll get to in a minute. So, like, that part is really interesting because it is different from just, like, say, like, a grid or, like, just hitting encounter after encounter after encounter. Because you got to think about what you're doing. Like, you can try and sneak past a monster, and it rolls an invisible check based on your stealth stat. And you can get past them and then move the ring around one. So you might try and stealth past them because the exit's right there. But if you fail the stealth stat, you'll get hit. They'll get a free hit on you, basically. And it all really interested me to the point where I was really interested going into the game. Of, like, seeing what this game is and what it can do. And I played it for, like, 4 hours. And I don't like saying this about roguelikes. I'm a big fan of roguelikes. Like, I understand that you die, you go back, you go again, right? Like, that's how a roguelike works. And I've loved roguelikes in the past, Rogue Legacy, Dead Cells, Hades. There's tons of them I've absolutely loved. But this one really quickly started feeling like I was just beating my head against the wall for no return. Because I reached a point where I wasn't getting any further in the game. Like, I couldn't. And I wasn't learning anything. Like, you don't power up in any way. Like, you unlock some new cards that you can then find, like, on a subsequent run. But because everything you find is random. Like, you can unlock a really cool weapon, say.
Yeah.
But all it does is it adds it to the deck. And then it's random whether you ever encounter it again. or not. Like, and so I wasn't getting any more powerful every time I started, and it got to a point where I was just getting killed by the same things over and over again. And I was like, I already knew how they worked, so I wasn't learning a new way to get past them. Like when I played Spelunky 2 a few weeks ago, it starts you off at the beginning and you don't get any more powerful, but every death it teaches you something about the game. So you slowly get better at the game by just knowing how everything in it works.
Yeah,
Whereas with Ring of Pain, I was learning how everything worked, but I was still getting killed by the same things because there's just too big a power disparity. Unless you get really lucky with items, you are going to get killed by the same things over and over again in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like there's like it early on. There's like these bomb creatures. They explode on death, so you can't attack them because if you kill them, they'll blow up and they'll do shitloads of damage to you and everything around you. So you try to, but they also move towards you through the ring. So, like, if you attack an enemy, that's a turn. It moves closer to you. Once it gets in front of you, it primes itself to explode. So the idea is to get away. But if you try to get away, like, it works really well if there's potions and doors and things that can't hurt you to move away from. But if there's enemies, like, your stealth stats low, which mine was perpetually low, I would still take damage trying to get away. So I'm still taking damage either way. And then once I started getting past that section, you get to sections with ranged enemies where the ring, there's like 20 cards on a ring, and like on either side there's these enemies that are attacking me from a distance, and it's like I can't get to you because I'm trying to deal with this enemy in front of me. And by the time I've taken all the damage from this guy, I haven't got enough health left for you, and you just shoot me and I'm dead. and those were basically I was just dying to those two things over and over again.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Seems a bit unbalanced.
It's just I get that they want to make the game difficult. Makes sense, right? It's a roguelike. Roguelikes generally trade on being difficult. Spelunky 2 is hard as shit. Like Hades is pretty fucking difficult when you start playing it. But in both of those games, I'm getting more powerful, or I'm learning, or both.
Or you're having fun.
Or I'm having fun, like just playing it. And in Ring of Pain, none of those things was true by the time I was finished.
Yeah, sounds like it as well.
And there's no story to keep me like going. Like, there's a story. Like, I don't want to say there's no story, but like you get it in like a sentence at a time. So like in an entire run, I might get like a sentence or two sentences of a story if I'm lucky. Like the runs on the thing that exacerbates it is like runs on average last a few minutes at a time. So like you get through it really quickly. So I'm constantly rushing and like crashing into this like brick wall of difficulty, but like every 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I fucking died in the first room once and unlocked an achievement because I died in less than 30 seconds. Like, just because the RNG screwed me. Because there's these potions. So there's health potions, which are cards on the thing, and you flip them and you drink them, right? And, like, you try to use them tactically, but it depends where they are and where you are and where the enemies are as to when you can drink them. But there's also, like, curse potions, which is, like, 50-50. It'll either restore shitloads of your health, or it'll put you down to 1 health.
Yeah.
And, like, you have to drink them out of desperation. And then it's like, oh shit, I need to heal. Blog, you're on 1 health now. You're gonna die. It's like, great, fantastic. Thanks.
Thanks for not making it fun.
And then the rat kills me because I've got no option but to attack it. And like it's gonna hit me. Like unless I can kill it in 1 hit, which is incredibly rare. Like I've put like really good runs together by accident because I've managed to find some cool stuff or some like a helpful spell or a good weapon. But there's no consistency to me being able to like even equip myself to be ready for a big challenge. Like I was on a good run at one point I was on a good run one point with really good equipment. And then I ended up in an ambush, and there were these wall things that suddenly closed in like around the ring. And you can't go past them. You can't even try and sneak past them. And they've got like 100 health. And I was like, I can't get past this. Like, I have never seen any equipment that exists that would allow me to get past this challenge. So basically, what happened was, I walked into an ambush, and the game just said, "Cool, you're gonna die."
Time to die.
Like, your time is now. Like, and I'm like, that's not good game. That's not a good game. Like,
no, it's not.
It's not for me. Like, if a game ever pushes me into a corner and says you are going to die, I'm like, no, that's not cool. Game.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's like the first boss in like Demon Souls, which is like you die and then you to learn how to respawn.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Yeah, like there were like it just felt unwinnable, and I don't like, and not in a oh shit, this boss is really hard in Bloodborne kind of way, where it's like it feels unwinnable the first couple of times, but you eventually start learning and you go, cool, I can do this. Like, I can do this. Whereas in Ring of Pain, I played it for 4 hours and I was like, this is unwinnable. There's no way I can win this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not true. There probably is a way I can win this. They wouldn't make an unwinnable game. But also, I do not care to try to learn because I am not enjoying this.
The thing is, when it comes to roguelikes, kind of roguelikes this year have peaked with Hades.
There's been some really good ones.
Yeah, and the ones you've played this year, you've enjoyed because of certain other things as well, not just because of the roguelike elements, but other elements like for Hades, how they were telling the story on that was one of its strongest elements for you to keep you going. And this one here just seems like it's very it's missing the mark, which is very disappointing.
Yeah, like roguelikes, most roguelikes are difficult. And most roguelikes will set you back right at the beginning when you die. I get that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. But that's not all they could be. And Ring of Pain does have unique elements. Like, I like the ring in theory. Maybe if they just, like, chilled out on, you know, some of the more brutal challenges right at the beginning. Like, and let you get some equipment behind you before it started killing you with like ranged enemies and shit. Like, maybe give me a ranged weapon for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, maybe, but like it just, for me, it totally missed the mark. And yeah. I was good because there are some interesting ideas in it, and it really did seem like it was gonna scratch an itch I was looking to scratch, but like I played it for the same amount of time you played Return, and I just gave up.
God, I completed and enjoyed the game, and you play the game, and you're just like, you're like, dun, dun, dun,
done. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.
I'm gonna play Among Us with my friends. Bye.
Yeah.
So we got one more game. This isn't like a full review type thing situation. This is a game came out earlier this year that Moody downloaded on Game Pass, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Carrion.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes. Developed by Phobia Game Studio and published by Devolver Digital. Was it the Devolver Digital event? Obviously, it burped or puked on Phil Spencer, I believe.
Burped on Phil Spencer.
Yeah. It's described as a reverse horror game. The game allows you players to control the tentacle monster whose objective is to make its way through the facility, stalking and killing humans in its path to get to the surface. I was trying to think my brain weren't working there. Surface, basically. This is dumb fun. It's dumb fun. I really, really have enjoyed this. Just breaking out and just charging in to kill things as this thing that gets bigger and bigger and bigger as the tentacle monster. There's some parts where you do have to like stealthy him, but sometimes when I just stealth it, I stealth, but then like a brick wall, make sure I am killing you and eating you to make myself bigger. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. The controls are a bit wacky, especially on controller. You have to be. They can just go all over the place, I think, when you're trying to, like, you don't realize you've actually got hold of somebody to get it closer. It's like, oh, well, all right, get closer. I'm making you want to come closer, but you don't. You basically have to go towards it, basically. That's how I feel like I've had to, works for me. I might be wrong, though, but yeah, it's dumb fun. I've just switched my brain off and really enjoyed just playing this. And well done to the team here. Like I say, puzzles aren't the hardest. You can get lost a little bit, but I feel like that's what they want you to do, because they want you to explore everything and unlock things to make yourself bigger and more powerful and everything like that. But
I mean, it's power fantasy, right? Like, they call it a reverse horror for a reason. It's like, you are the unstoppable, unkillable monstrosity, destroy everything. Like, it's like, it would be like playing as, like, Freddy Krueger or Jason or Mike Myers, like...
Yeah. I'm basically the xenomorph from Alien.
Yeah, like, it's like, it'd be like, imagine how much fun an Alien game would be playing as an alien. Well, that's what Carrion is. Go have fun killing everyone. And it's like, cool. That's such a cool concept. And I do want to try and get back to it before the end of the year, because I missed it when it came out. I don't know why. There must have been a reason. But, because it was on Game Pass day and date. So there must have been a reason why I didn't play it. But
I'm pretty sure there was. I think you were playing some other game.
I usually am. Like, if I ever miss a game, it's because I was playing something else. And sometimes I have regrets.
I think that week was like a couple of games came out at once, and you're thinking, "Oh, I want to play this. I want to play this. And I want to play this." Like, oh no,
it happens. It's like, it's gonna happen in November. There's gonna be so many games where I'm like, I want to play it all, but I can't.
Yeah, November's gonna be the month for us where we will get to them when we get to them.
We will get to some games quickly, and we will get to some games much more slowly, and that is just how life is gonna work. But I'm on the subject of Carrion, like, I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Like, like, dumb fun is exactly what I want from a game like that. Like, so you're saying dumb fun, I'm just like, that sounds perfect for this type of game.
Mm-hmm. There's an element that I'm a little confused right now, because you become a human at one time and you're doing something, and I'm not really sure what you're doing. So it doesn't explain. That's all. Like, the thing with the monster thing, I knew you're there to get out and kill things.
You are a monster.
I don't know what I'm doing right now, and it's a bit confusing. But like, they are very, very scattered. So I'm not that bothered really overall when it comes to that.
That's fair.
It's a little negative, but other than that, like,
it'll probably reveal itself at the end of the game.
Yeah, probably.
As to what you're doing in that one. Yeah. But no, cool. Like, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Like, I split the games up in the running order in such a way where it was like positive, negative, positive, negative. But you said you wanted to talk about Carrion, but you never told me what you thought of it. So I was like, I really hope this is a positive one, because this is the one we're ending on. And I knew Remothered was going to be, I am going to rant. Moody is not going to get a word in edgeways, and I am just going to go off for like 10 minutes. But yeah, no, it's cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And that's it for the Words About Games review show, episode number 3. The spooky one, because if you think about Among Us as basically John Carpenter's The Thing, we basically just talked about horror games all day.
Oh my god, what if an Among Us alien version?
There might be mods, you never know.
Oh my god, I've just kind of had a wet dream there.
Cool. Yeah, but that's gonna do it. It's not even Halloween, and we've already done a spooky episode. We might be doing another one next week. We'll find out. Probably not, though, because I will actually... The only reason I didn't... Because I talked about it last week. Didn't play NHL 21 purely because the only opportunity I had to play it, I chose to play Among Us instead. And I don't think anyone will be able to fault my decision.
Well, she hasn't shut up about the game, ladies and gentlemen, so we can give her some little slack.
And it's like, you think I'm going to shut up about it now? Oh, no. Now we're playing it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yo, I'm about to go and buy that Phasmophobia game, man. Like, we need to play that. That looks so cool. But we'll get out of here. We won't take up any more of your time. Everybody out there, thank you very much for watching this podcast. If you've watched it, remember you can also now get it over on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon. And one day, in the far future, when the robots have taken over the earth, you might be able to get it on Google. Google. But we are out of here. I promise I'll make some effort into my appearance next time. But until then, see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Moody sus.